June 1st, blurry-eyed from a Mountain Dew movie, watching last night into the wee hours with a fan on to keep my ample frame coolish but not full-on cool. I was Charlie Watts but not Keith Richards. Thoroughly enjoyed Eddie Vedder in concert film Water on the Road. Especially glad to see Ed's transformation into the dude from The Big Lebowski is almost complete. Vedder remains as distantly enamored with the power of melody and mood-shifting rhythms now as he was when Pearl Jam first released their debut album some 20 years ago. Fittingly, I got my tickets for Pearl Jam show in the autumn today from FedEx, which included one small envelope inside of a larger envelope inside of a gargantuan FedEx envelope. Seems like overkill to me. The last 8 times I've received Pearl Jam tickets in the mail, it was regular post. But this week, with the postal strike seeming almost inevitable, I guess they switched over to FedEx. I fear that all of what's left of the mail I'm about to get in the coming weeks will be like this. For weeks or months, all the mail that I get will be like the Pearl Jam tickets being in a small envelope wrapped inside an excessive envelope inside of a larger package. As more and more of our life gets portioned out to privatized sectors, I wince in smug pride knowing that Canada's voting populace handed over what's left of our resources and pension funds to a conservative majority, so we completely deserve all the evil shit that's coming our way. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but the poor and privileged have no opponent more intrusively vicious than a conservative. Eat your shit sandwich, Canada. After all, you ordered another 4 years of them, chump. On the upside, I have come to the realization that it is better to be sensitive than sensible. Just be careful when you choose either in front of the opposite sex. Finally had the chance to see the motion picture Thor. The only surprise of the film for me was that Kenneth Branagh directed it. Kenneth, who spent most of his long and lucrative career making exciting film renditions of normally brooding Shakespearean plays, and was absolutely inspiring as the Lech, Lee Simon, in Woody Allen's Celebrity. Most of Woody Allen's films are worth a single watch, but Celebrity is one of those titles that joins the ranks of Broadway Danny Rose and What's Up Tiger Lily as a seminal film that deserves a few viewings. I'd mention Annie Hall, but recommending Annie Hall it's like suggesting somebody check out the Beatles. My favorite Beatle was John, then Paul, then George, then Yoko. At least nobody got hurt. As I get older, more of my dear friends committed to alcohol and drug use succumb to the inevitable crash. I hear the expression, well, at least nobody was hurt. Not for me. I would never dismiss another person's pain. It's theirs, and I was raised not to take anything from people unless they offered first. This includes beer and Hymens. After one is offered, of course, you may take what you feel is an adequate amount, but at least it pertains to beer, After a couple of Hymens, well, nobody even wants to be caught red-handed, so sorry about that joke. It was bloody awful. I've often wondered if people who are really into S&M, that is to say sadomasochism, do these practitioners ever use the expression, well, at least nobody was hurt, just because they're into pain? They ever wish it away? I'm sure that they don't want to be in pain all the time. It would lose some of its luster, I imagine. I have to imagine it, because I've never been into the leather bondage scene. I don't really have a scene, as I'm not part of a active production. It's more of a solo, off-Broadway performance art piece now.
Cry, yawn, sleep, repeat.
Up early this morning and onto my bicycle with my dorky helmet and my bright red bike that says to the world, I'm not emotionally invested in your opinion of me. I drove up to the new library, dubbed the Milton Cultural Center. Ooh la la, it isn't open to the public, not yet, only to construction people. My chain fell off my gear wheel crossing a road. Didn't panic, just coasted along, easy fix on the sidewalk. A little grease on my hands, brush that shit off, and it's off to the Sunset Grill for eggs and toast and juice. Reading the paper, I see that a copy of a mint-condition June 1938 action comic featuring Superman on the cover sold to a collector for $1 million in the United States currency. When I see articles like this, I know that there are thousands, nay millions of schmucks up on this third mall from the sun with dog-eared copies of Uncanny X-Men that think they're going to retire to a life of ease in Puerto Vallarta. In an article below Superman, I read that last year Queen's University had 6 students die of alcohol poisoning, and like most nerds, when I find out about student deaths, my first reaction is to say, please let them be jocks, please let them be jocks, please let them be jocks. You have to say it 3 times to make it ritual, otherwise you're just wasting your time. Ain't that right, my Wiccan alumni? Out there in cyberspace, to the wicca whack. Somehow, when jocks die of alcohol poisoning, it's just not as sad. In fact, it's not sad at all. Sometimes it's relief. When it is a student of academia, it's tragic, because with their life, we may have also lost a cancer cure or a petroleum alternative. Don't think me completely insensitive, but these kids were in university, so at the very least, they were smart enough into talking their parents into signing enormous checks. They should have been smart enough to register nausea as a sign to stop drinking. As a teenager, I partook in stimulants and depressants, and overdid it, and puked, and passed out, and caused fights and tears and dismay, and then grew out of it. And had I have died of alcohol poisoning, I would have deserved it. Alcoholism isn't a disease. Self-pity is. If you think drinking yourself retarded is tragic, then you have lived a sheltered life, my friend. You haven't seen cancer up close kill somebody that you loved. Lymphoma is a disease. Alcohol consumption is a substitute for thinking, and in moderation can be an incredibly pleasant one. An unrelated story, Quebec, in an attempt to win me over, even more than they already have. Quebec, oh how I do love you, from afar, and I blow you kisses every night before I go to sleep. Quebec are having the preschools teachers rewrite nursery rhymes and stories to remove God and divine imagery, to assure the separation of church and state. God bless Quebec and atheists everywhere for tearing down yesteryear's superstitions. In a related story, I read that Sublime is playing Brampton's Hockey Fest this weekend, which is a miracle, since Bradley Noel has been dead since 1996. He played guitar, sang, and wrote all their better songs. So in reforming the band, I would say gumption is what they got. I say remember that. Gumption is what they got. On the weekend, Nicole Polizzi, Snooki, come on, you Snooki. So you can take that cookie and stick it up your Snooki was in a car accident in Italy where tragically she wasn't killed. Even more tragically, Jersey Shore is filming its 4th season. Arrested Development only got 2.5 seasons, and Jersey Shore is in their 4th season. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do not get America. Most of my favorite artists are from America, but America as a whole, what becomes popular in America, I don't get it. I don't get this attraction to spray-tanned Neanderthals. It's embarrassing. So says the 35-year-old bald blogger. Wah, cry. Stop by my new dentist's office this morning to get all the transfer paperwork, as I feel gouged at my current dentist, both in service and in price. Well, given the necessary paperwork, the receptionist assures me that I need my, quote, wife or whatever to fill out the other form, and the emphasis on whatever, clearly a proverbial okay stamp on me being gay. So, just if I am, she wants me to know that that's alright with her. She's not the first one to think I'm gay. In fact, even the woman that first gave my future wife my phone number originally thought I was gay. Which, on the way out of the dentist's office, I caught my reflection in the glass, and I totally get it. I'm wearing snug shorts, sweaty, clean t-shirt, bicycle helmet. I do look a little gay. Plus, I don't wear a wedding ring. I haven't since the first year I was married. I work as a cook, and you can only scrape so much chicken guts and seasoning off of a ring until it's no longer worth the time it takes to put it on. It's a nice symbol, sure, but I got bills to pay, and so off went the ring. I try to assure myself that it is the absence of my wedding band that is the reason why people keep assuming I'm homosexual, and as to not to succumb to any of the stereotypes that only hurt and do not help us in this 2011th year of the Gregorian calendar.